All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the Redington virtual webinars. Today's session, the topic is from Barracuda on CloudGen Firewall, which is securing your business during the pandemic. We have Mohan, our lead consultant from KSA, who will be running you through the session. In case you have any questions during the session, we would request you to please put them in the Q&A tab, and Mohan will address all your questions towards the end of the session. Mohan, over to you.
Thank you. Good morning to everyone. Thank you for joining today's session. Today we're gonna see how to secure the business during this pandemic. So especially in this situation, everyone is working from home, and organization have facilitated work from home, and they are giving their resources to the remote users, either through VPN or IPsec VPN, client-to-site VPN. So today topic we're gonna discuss more on the VPN part. So we're gonna split today's session in two. First off, I'll just brief about CloudGen Firewall and its features. Then I'll show you a live demo. Then we can have a Q&A at the end of the session. Okay. So as the pandemic happened, there is a rise of VPN access more than 125% between March 9th and March 22nd. So as people started working from home, there is a lot of demand of VPNs. Even if the organization doesn't have any VPN in place, they are actually putting up a VPN solution so that the user from remote site can access their cloud resources and do their day-to-day work. Two things comes to when organization want to have a VPN solution. One is access to their users. They'll have to give a proper access with the proper user authentication and the right information accessed by the user and the flexibility. See, no one knows when this pandemic will end. So this might be a permanent solution or going to be a temporary solution. So the organization will have to keep in that mind, like they're not going to have a biggest change in their network or their infrastructure. So all they're looking, it's like an easy deployment, like something like plug and play mode, or even if they have a remote office which they don't even have access, how they going to deploy a firewall in the remote location with all the configuration in place. Let's see how CloudGen Firewall will help on that. And the organization also have to keep in their mind the user might use company-owned devices or their personal devices like tabs or mobile phones. So they need a flexible deployment and a wide range of options where the user can use any of their endpoints to access or continue with day-to-day work. So we have like three types of users. One who needs full access to the corporate network so that they'll have access to their application or services, and they'll be connected to their corporate network continuously, and they'll be using a company-owned laptops or desktops. Or there will be a mobile users which don't have a company-owned devices. They might be using their own devices, their own laptops, or their own smartphones or tablet. So they can also download any paid app or app distributed by the company. And the third one is the basic normal users. They rarely connect to their company resource, and they usually like roaming around, and they can use any free apps or freely available public apps to connect to download on their tablets or mobiles to connect to their corporate resources. So let's see how Barracuda CloudGen Firewall will help for all these users. And just giving a brief, traditionally we want to like when you put a firewall, it's going to be a perimeter firewall, and they'll simply look like what internet being accessed by the user and what kind of application control they are doing. But currently it's no more. So with Barracuda Firewall, you'll have this, it will protect, and you can connect and you can enable. Let's go ahead. These are the challenges comes to the organization when they plan to put a new CloudGen firewall or any firewall which is having the SSL VPN or any VPN technologies. how they gonna manage if they have more than like 100 to 200 branches, and they're gonna put the firewall in each branches, and each branch will have their own admins, and how they gonna do the audit, and who will take care of the reporting. And there also security is a key thing, so they have to ensure the configuration is in place. You'll have to protect from spyware, or any zero day or any type of network hacking, reconnaissance, or any kind of data theft. And how they're going to deploy it during this. And some organization, they won't even have access to the remote places. So how they can deploy it in a remote branch with all the configuration in place. With CloudGen Firewall, so we have an option called zero touch deployment. So you get a box, put the configuration, everything remotely, and using Barracuda Control Center, so you can even push the configuration to the remote firewall. So you don't have to do anything. It's just plug and play. You take out the appliance from the box. Even a person who doesn't have knowledge about any firewall can put it in the data center, connect the cables, and activate it, and that's it. It will have the configuration once it's boot up. And each box has its own IPS, IDS signature, SSL interception, user awareness, application control, antivirus, web filtering, and even advanced threat protection. Advanced threat protection, I'll show a brief slide in the next. So this is a cloud-based sandboxing. And you'll also have the VPN. We'll see how the VPN can be configured, how easy to configure VPN and SSL VPN in Barracuda firewalls. So this is a quick overview of what is the security aspects of CloudGen. It has its own advanced threat protection. So when you say advanced threat protection, it is a cloud-based sandboxing. So any file downloaded by the user will go to the cloud, does it sandboxing. Sandboxing will have four level of check. One is advanced signature analysis. It can signature from all over antivirus, and it will check for the signature, and it will check for the behavior and heuristic analysis, like anything making on the register entry, or any malicious doing with the same process ID. And it all next thing, it will go to the static code analysis. Then it will check for the detonation. It will let it execute and see what happens. Only if the file is genuine, it will let the user to download, or else it will just block. This is the overview of ATP. So the supported protocols were HTTP, HTTPS, SMTP, POP3, and FTP. So any users trying to download any files from these protocols, it will be sent to ATP, does it analysis, and then it will be allowed to the users. So you have two options. One is like first scan, then deliver, or first deliver, then scan. The first option will scan the files first. Only if it is genuine, then it will be delivered to the user. If it is found malicious, the user will be notified the file is malicious, and there is no way the user can download that particular file. The second option is first deliver, then scan. So this way, it will deliver the file, then does it scan. If it's found malicious, it will be notified to the user and admin of downloaded file sent to ATP, and there is a malicious activity for identified in this particular file. So they'll have a report on what is the malicious activity over there. These are the multiple layers in the sandboxing. You have multiple signature from phishing and traditional malware. Then it will go to the command in code, and it will check for the replication, file overrides, registry entry, obfuscation techniques, and it will also check any suspicious code is written in that particular file. Then it will check for the rapid pre-filtering for sandboxing. It will try to execute it, and after executing it, it will actually know what exactly it does. Then it will be delivered to the user. Okay. And as next generation firewall, you can have you can like put you can have control on the bandwidth. Like for an example, if the user is browsing internet, you can give a lower bandwidth, or if it is a business VoIP call, or any video conference call as a business, you can give the higher priority. For any updates, you can keep it as a normal priority. So this will happen automatically. And user awareness. These are the various authentication methods that is used for authenticating the external user, whether it is at hackers or LDAP or RSA security. We can integrate it two-factor authentication, and you can also have a SAML authentication, NTLM, and even you can have a local authentication created on the firewall itself. And URL filtering, it's like you can have, you don't need to have a separate URL filtering. You can use the same URL filtering which comes within the CloudGen firewall. You can whitelist application, you can blacklist URLs, you can, like, there are three levels of action. You can either allow it, you can block it, or you can alert the user the page you are visiting, it's like monitored or warned by the admin. So it's up to the user to proceed it. So the user can choose whether to proceed it, or they can simply like block it. And you can also block files or user agent if the organization wants only to access Chrome. You can only allow Chrome, and it will block all. If the user is trying to use Internet Explorer or Firefox, it will be blocked. It will be only Chrome will be allowed to access their corporate data or internal websites. And you can also block the file types if the organization doesn't want any of the user to download any audio files or media files or flash files or even executable files. They can block it. So any web page containing any of these files which are tend to download, you can simply block. This is a brief of SD-WAN. If an organization is having multiple ISP and they need to decide, and multiple ISP in the head office and multiple ISP in the branch office, and there is a VPN established between two. So, but they need to give highest priority to the business application and lowest priority to the social media. So that will happen automatically. So whenever user use Office 365, it will take the highest priority and it will give them a better bandwidth and than people using the social media, which consumes a lower bandwidth. Accordingly, the business critical application will have no latency or will have a good networking than the user accessing social media. And let's talk about the VPNs. For multiple branches, we'll see how easy it is. If it is a dynamic mesh VPN, I can show you how the VPN has been triggered and how easy to configure on the firewall. So as simple as that, you just make your head office and put your branch office firewall and simply drag and drop will create a dynamic mesh VPN. And all you have to do is edit a couple of branches and make sure there is a group created, and that's it. Your VPN will be created within 2 minutes. That's how easy it is to create VPN in Barracuda firewall. And this is our main topic today for the user VPN access. So like I said, the three types of user, either they can use their company owned devices or their own devices. So with Barracuda, they have a proprietary app called CUDA Launch. So this CUDA Launch, it's for Windows 10 as well as iOS and Android. And the same SSL VPN can be accessible using browser-based and a VPN and NAT client. Okay, I'll show you a short demo on how these works. So first, this is the browser-based SSL VPN. So you can integrate with multiple authentication mechanism, and you can have your favorite. So with browser-based, you are limited to publish only the web pages or web services or even a shared folder. So this is internal resource. So once I click it, automatically it will be open in a browser. And this is the internal application. And this is internal file share folders. So you can edit it, you can put your files, or you can copy files and download, or you can upload the files in your file share folder. The same VPN, if it is accessible through, this is the Kudo Launch app. So I'm logging in as a guest. So it is letting you to download. Okay, that's so as you can see, we have some application published. These are the web application with whether it is a HTTP or HTTPS, and this is a RDP. RDP, you can see there is one RDP with single sign-on enabled and one is with credential prompt. If I click on single sign-on, it will actually take my Windows credential and automatically signs into the targeted machine. See, as you see, it didn't even ask for the username and password, and this is the remote screen. If I access the same using credential prompt, it will ask for the credential. This is a native application which is published through the SSL VPN. See, this is how it works when you have a credential prompt. Okay, you can also use your native client. To do that, you can create multiple VPN. So here we have a couple of VPN connection. One is to the head office, another to a couple of branch office. So what happens when you click, automatically the NAC, the network access client, is triggered and it will connect to the head office VPN. So as you see, your Barracuda network access client, you are now successfully connected to the head office VPN. So once you are connected, your desktop or your laptop will be a part of the local network, and you can use your native app to connect to your backend resources. So similarly, if you only want to have SSH tunnel, once you click disconnect, automatically the network access client will be disconnected. Tunnel, you have SSH tunnel. So this will be the destination IP only. This will open a tunnel only to a particular backend server for the port 22, so that you are not giving user the entire network access. You are giving a particular machine access for the port SSH. And you can let's disconnect it. So similarly, like we saw in the browser based, you can also have a file share from the Kudo Launch app itself. So this is the folder, everything. Okay, and if we open HQ intranet, it will open the browser. See, this is actually a local internal site. So this is the application from Windows 10. Let's see how it works on mobile. Okay, so this is the Kudo Launch app. I'm connecting as a demo and logging as a username. Here you can select OTP or MSID authentication login. You will see the same screen as you saw in the Windows 10. So it has favorites, so you can add any favorites you want. If you click on this one, HQ intranet and Apache page, click done. So it will be appear in the favorites page. So once you click Turn on Apache, it will actually take you to the browser and opens the internal. This is the default web page for the Apache server. And similarly, if you want to open VPN, and before that, I'll show you how the folder works. This is the same folders. So this is a text file which is open from the file share folders, and you have the same VPN connection. If you are connecting to headquarters, automatically the VPN will be established to the headquarters. It's disconnected, and you can also do the SSH tunnel. Okay, click connect and disconnect. And if you open the same CRM, it will open in the browser. You can access apps. Okay, and let's see what happens if I use the single sign-on, because there is no single sign-on working on the iPad. It will only take from the Windows credential. So what will happen? It will ask for the password, whether you choose for single sign-on or credential prompt. Okay. I think it's, let me, so this is a different error, so it is exceeding the number of allowed connections. So let me close everything and I'll try to open it. To do this, I have to do something else. Yeah, here we logged in. So this is the same RTP connection to the SSO, and you can see you can access the same targeted server even through your mobile devices. So let's see how the authentication works. So this is with single sign-on and RTP using a credential prompt. Yeah. So it's as simple as it is. So the user doesn't need to have access to their laptop to have access to their internal server. They can simply use their own iPad or iPhone or even Android tablets to have access to their internal servers. So, and configuration, it's very simple. You hardly require like 15 to 20 minutes to make the VPN up and running with all the app published. Okay, so this is the end of the demo. If you have any queries, you can put it on the Q&A session.
So thanks again, Mohan, for a wonderful session, and also thank you to all the attendees for making time and attending this. I hope we've answered all your queries and provided all the information you require. Also, you can find the recording for the session on our Redington Value YouTube page. All recordings and all webinars are made available there, and we will be sharing invites with you for the upcoming sessions in the month, and we would request you to please register for them and attend as well. Thanks again, Mohan, and I hope all of you have a great day ahead.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining today's